I'm just bringing that up as a like a thing because it's kind of, you know, chilling to me that like that even occurred. And I'm just like amazed that this had even happened in the first place at a network that was made for children, you know, by people that were supposed to protect kids, and kind of like made by some kids because, like, you know, kids decided what was going to be like popular as a show, like, because we had the Kids' Choice Awards. Not like any of this had been like our fault in any way, but the adults should have protected those kids. Like, it's crazy to me. And like, you know, the other thing that's so freaking bizarre, like fucking bizarre, I mean, I'm just gonna say it, it's fucking bizarre, because, you know, the thing I'm really, like, just can't even wrap my brain around is that you have the whole thing where after he was working on Drake and Josh, Brian Peck, he got a job at Disney and was still working on Drake and Josh. And the Corel brothers and their sister let him work on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Sweet Life on Deck, the Sweet Life movie, and they are like co-creators of the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Sweet Life on Deck, and the Sweet Life movie. And yeah, if you don't remember Brian Peck on Sweet Life, he, you know, did some roles on the show. He worked like behind the scenes. He was London's mirror. And even there was one particular scene where he told London, like, hey, London, you're looking pretty fine, you know. And the mirror was talking to her, and it's like, London, strip. And she's like, what? Strip? And she literally starts to strip. And then somebody else walks in, and, you know, they cut to it like that, but it's like, she's literally pulling layers of clothes off and has clothes underneath. And it's like, what in the world did Disney Channel allow that to happen? And you have the whole thing with like Demi Lovato and everything. Like, you know, people wonder why Demi Lovato almost died. You know, it's the same thing with Amanda Bynes. Like, I talked about the Amanda Bynes thing in my last video, but now I'm going to talk about Demi Lovato. So, okay, you have the people that created all that, Brian Robbins, Mike Tollin, they worked on Sunny with Chance and So Random with the help of Dan Schneider. And that's how Demi Lovato got her start on Sunny with a Chance. And basically, they turned the show into So Random when Demi Lovato was going through all her drug issues. But I'm just going to tell you something. Who's to say that Demi Lovato was not harmed or raped by Brian Peck or one of these sexual predators or that was working at Disney or whatever, on top of all the emotional abuse she suffered while she was at Disney, and because she's talked about all the emotional stress and abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse that Disney put her through, and like the eating disorder she has. She's talked about like how it put her on a downward spiral working at Disney. Like, you know, it is like, she's talked about it. She's talked about like why she almost died. You know, she's getting help now, but like, that is like the main thing of like, yeah, okay, that happened. And Miley Cyrus has even said like, yeah, working for Disney was a fucking terrible thing. That's why she wanted to get out of it. She didn't want to be Hannah Montana forever. Like, you know, they're all saying this was like a bad experience. And, you know, this is making Disney and Nick very much connected now with their whole ring of like the sexual predators. With the one sexual predator going from Nickelodeon to Disney and going back and forth. Just doing this little thing because he worked on another show that Charlie Sheen was working on, and had Corey Haim working on it, and, you know, sexually assaulted Corey Haim, and Brian Peck was good buddies with Charlie Sheen, and, you know Brian Peck was good buddies with John Wayne Gacy, so who's not to say Charlie Sheen wasn't writing letters to John Wayne Gacy with Brian Peck? They all could have been pen pals. You know, this is all stuff to think about. And the whole fucking thing that John Wayne Gacy and Brian Peck were pen pals, that tells you a whole fucking lot right there. And, you know, I bet you 100 fucking % that Brian Peck and Charlie Sheen were writing letters to John Wayne Gacy. That they both were. With the whole Corey Haim thing. Like, that's just, like, crazy in itself. And you have the whole thing where, like, Drake Bell was, like, going into the courtroom, and he sees all these people supporting Brian Peck, and it's like, okay, you have the people from Boy Meets World, Corey's best friend, Ryder Strong, and Corey's brother, Will Friedle, the people who played them, and they wrote letters to the judge. You have Kitty, something,